Would you like to do a reading this morning?
Sure.
One of you, or both of you?
Sure. Thank you.
Would you like to do a reading this morning? Nope. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Maria. Good morning. Are you brand new to us? Well, welcome. I won't ask you to do a shared reading then this morning. It's very good. I'm Laura. I'm the minister here. Kayla and Lily, nice to meet you. Hopefully you enjoy. We do have a flower ceremony today. You are totally invited to come and participate as you wish and take flower, and we have plenty extra. So, okay? Yeah, enjoy. Would you like to do a little reading? Okay. Do a little reading?
Sure.
During the call to worship. I'll call you up. It's your number 8.
I can do that. I
Yes.
can count.
Yes.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Peggy. Just gonna check and see. Hi, Kate. All right. Yep. Ready? Okay.
La légère fleur tremble sous son tige, lambe le voltige. Voici l'oiseleur qui guette la vive alouette. Le long de Silon, le long des allées, tièdes et voilées, le gai papillon sème avec ses ailes des flots d'étincelles. Écoutez là-bas les mille murmures des mille verdures. Ne dirait-on pas qu'il voit des voix jusque dans les mousses? Oh, dans l'Italie, quand l'ombre s'allonge, quand le corps prolonge, c'est du halali, comme la pensée se trouve percée. Quel chemin secret dans le transparent, dans le les ronde. Et puis quel regret quand l'aurore rechève la vive le rêve.
Come, come, whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You are welcome here, whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears. You are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all of the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands, and you are welcome here at South Valley Unitarian Universalist Society. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brenda. My pronouns are she and her. And isn't it lovely to be here together on this beautiful spring day for our flower communion? Yes. We had a party last night, the first party in 2 years. It was marvelous. Who was there? Yes. And thanks to Maureen Davies, we had people online as well joining us, and that was lovely. And we are emerging, as we know, from this pandemic. Hopefully it's emerging. The masks are optional at this point, so it's up to you. And let's just be kind with each other because we're all in different places and different things happening for us individually with all this. We want to extend a warm welcome to anyone who's new and found us. We're so glad you did, and there are ways to be connected. If you saw on the way in, there's a sign that has, what is that called? Barcode, QR code. And that's how we have the program, and then there's ways to connect to the community. There's a connection card, there's a pastoral care card, there's all kinds of information once you click on that. We also have a website with lots of info. And we have a religious exploration program, and Grace is here today. And the kids are going down to do something fun. Okay, all right. And so so that can happen, or kids can stay up, whichever you prefer. We love that there are kids and adults using the kids' corner. Yes, we really, really enjoy having that. And there's a lot always happening here. And we have a happenings newsletter. It comes by email, so if you don't already get that, that's another thing you can find on that QR code, how to get that. And then just a couple announcements. Next Sunday is going to be really cool. So we have service in the morning, like always. And then in the afternoon, 1:30, you can meet here in the parking lot, or just meet at 2:30 at the Great Salt Lake Park, which it's Saltaire, you guys. It's where Saltaire is, okay? So it's on the way to Tooele. Who knows how to spell that? Okay, and so remember, you're going there. You're not going to Antelope Island. You're going to Tooele, but then you're going to turn in at the Great Salt Lake Park. And at 2:30, we'll be joining First Unitarian Church and Holiday UCC, United Church of Christ. Thank you. And we will all have a public witness together. We'll have some ritual. It will be a really neat experience. And some education from our partners of the Friends of the Great Salt Lake. So, and today, 12:30, if you're interested and want to know more about Pathway to Membership, Reverend Laura and Laura Renshaw will be speaking, there she is, speaking to anyone interested about that. Our worship team is broad and all kinds of people involved. We already heard Michelle and Rick. Oh my gosh, another round of applause. You guys, seriously, the music. And then Richard Coleman and Lori Quigley are helping with streaming and chat box and all that for those at home. Sarah Featherstone's our board greeter today. Of course, our Reverend Laura here. And so Time for All Ages, Grace is going to do a story. So, yes. We are going to bring back sharing the warmth of community, which means we say good morning to each other. And so if you'd like to stand up and do that, if you'd like to just turn to your neighbor that you're next to, let's say hello and good morning for just a minute or two.
Oh my goodness, how nice that you guys are so connected. Yes, yes, nice to see you. I'm Laura. Nice to meet you. Hi, Becky. How are you doing? I'm good. Nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, always, always. Good morning. I'm Laura. Caitlin. I think I've seen you a couple times. Yeah.
Row number 4. So.
Okay. Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
The hymn's next. Morning is broken. This is wonderful. Isn't it wonderful? We will now sing our opening hymn. So you can grab hymnals, number 38, stand as you're willing and able, and we'll sing Morning Has Broken. Isn't it wonderful to talk to one another, see one another? It's so great. Stay standing, please, for the lighting of the chalice. And we do have chalice lighting words that are in the program, and many of us know them by heart. We also have actions to go with these. Okay. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. And you may be seated.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Laura Young, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. It is, again, so good to be together and to actually see you below the neck and to see your faces and just to enjoy being in community with you this morning. As we gather this morning, let's just start with breathing in and just like arrive with me. Just breathe in and ground your feet on the ground and just notice that you are actually here. And there's nowhere else that you need to be right now because you are here. And it is good to be here. As we gather on this ground that has been part of this community for over 20 years, let us do so with the acknowledgement and the awareness that these lands are the ancestral and current homelands of the Shoshone, Paiute, Goshute, and Ute tribes. And as Unitarian Universalists, we acknowledge the complex and violent history that resulted in the stealing of these lands. And the physical and cultural genocide was perpetuated against its peoples at the hands and the policies of colonial settlers and white policies. We commit ourselves to undoing these harms. And we authentically seek, with honesty, to engage in the necessary work that will produce justice for those that have been disenfranchised, and that promotes healing for the whole of the earth and all of its peoples. Our call to worship this morning is a shared call to worship. So if you are one of those souls that holds a tiny piece of paper in your hand, I invite you to just rise from where you are at. Your papers are numbered, so hopefully we can go somewhat in order. It's okay if you don't go in order, though. It'll all still work. So my 8 people just sort of stand up. And Lynn, I know you're way in the back. You might want to come a little bit more forward. For we are a community of shared ministry. And by sharing, we create the sacredness of the whole together. So Lynn starts us out.
We use flowers in our ceremony this morning to help us symbolize the love that is hidden deep inside of us. Flowers are beautiful, and so are the feelings of love among people. Their beauty cannot be measured, and neither can the feelings of people be measured.
Their life is short, but new flowers will replace the flowers that die, and new love can come into our hearts.
This bud is for the new babies who have joined us this year. Last year, these babies did not exist. This year, they are here among us. Before they could lift a hand, they learned to smile. Before they could speak, they learned to love. If we help them keep this love in their hearts, they will pass it on to others many years in the future.
This flower represents the people living all over the world. Maybe we will never see them face to face or touch their hands, but we can still warm our hands on their hearts, because we know that their hopes are like our hopes. Their pain is like our pain. Their love is like our love.
These flowers were each brought here by a different person and put together on these trays. They stand for all the people here today.
These flowers, so lovely today, will fade tomorrow. But the love among brothers and sisters, families and friends will go on and on. We know one another. We know what is in each other's hearts.
We have brought our flowers and our love to brighten our church and gladden our hearts.
And so ends our reading. Thank you. And if you have a flower with you when we call the children up for the children's story, you're invited if you'd like to come and put your flowers on the altar at that time too. And so I'm going to invite Grace forward and all the children as well, young at heart as well as young in body, to join us up at the front. I think we do. Stage. Oh yeah, on that side. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Leo.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Does this, okay. My name is Grace. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the RE assistant, religious exploration assistant. And Reverend Laura is going to help us out with reading a book that's called All I See Is Part of Me. Yay. Awesome.
Come on up. We still have a couple people bringing up flowers. It's okay. You can keep coming forward. We don't mind. Okay.
This book is dedicated to the child within all of us. I am part of all I see, and all I see is part of me. I am my hands, I am my feet, I am the puppy I see across the street. I am the moon, I am the stars. I am even found in candy bars. I used to think that I was small. A little body, that was all. But then one day, I asked the sun, "Who are you?" He beamed and said, "We are one." "But Mr. Sun, how is this true? How can I be both me and you?" He smiled. "You might ask your sister star. She too is part of who you are." And so I waited till the night, when the darkness let me see her light. "Sister star, how can it be that I am you and you are me?" She glowed. "You are larger than you know. You are every place there is to go. You have a body, this is true, but look at what's inside of you." I closed my eyes to see within. I saw a light, and it made me grin. It reminded me of Sister Star. She said, "This light is who you are. Your body is just a little part of the light that shines within your heart. In all the world, in all of the space, your light shines bright. It's every place. And when you join it dot to dot, you'll see that you is what you've got. All the plants, the animals, and the trees are in your light, and you are these. Look inside each one you meet and see your light. It's so complete. Inside, outside, below, above, see your light and feel its love. You're asking you when you ask me, so you know everything, don't you see? I looked again at all my light and saw that Sister Star was right. For every question there could be, the answer is inside of me. All I ever had to do was ask the part of me that knew. And then I said, there's something more. Each question opens up a door. And every door that I walk through leads to a part of me that's new. Thank you so much, Sister Star. I love the part of me you are. I wondered as I climbed in bed, does all of me sleep where I lay my head? And then a voice, I guess it was me, replied and spoke most lovingly. Even when you sleep, you are awake in every shining star. I snuggled with my teddy bear, and in his light, I saw me there. You are me, and I am you. You love me, and I love you too. I closed my eyes and found my light, dancing with moonbeams in the night. I said a prayer I knew was heard, because all that is hears every word. And I can see in all of me that there can be no end. Now I would like to invite our youth to stay upstairs with their families to enjoy the rest of the flower communion, but we also have an activity downstairs if that would be more beneficial to you. So it's up to you. If you are one of those that would like to come downstairs for the activity, we will be heading down these back stairs.
Flower crowns. conversation this evening. The Unitarian Universalist Communion service with flowers that we're about to celebrate was originated in 1923 by Dr. Norbert Kopek, founder of the modern Unitarian Universalist movement in Czechoslovakia. On the last Sunday before the summer recess of the Unitarian Church in Prague, all the children and adults participated in this colorful ritual, which gives concrete expression to the humanity-affirming principles of our liberal faith.
And so that church did that for many years, but when the Nazis took control of Prague in 1940, they found Dr. Kopek's gospel of the inherent worth and beauty of every human being to be, as Nazi court records show, too dangerous to the Reich for him to be allowed to live. Dr. Kopek was sent to Dachau, where he was killed the next year during a Nazi medical experiment, in quotes. This gentle man suffered a cruel death, but his message of human hope and decency lives on through his flower communion, which is widely celebrated across Unitarian congregations. It's a noble and meaning-filled ritual, and we're about to recreate it. This service includes Dr. Kopek's original prayers to help us remember the principles and dreams for which he lived and died.
And so, beloveds, each of us is born of this earth, lives of this earth, and returns to the earth in the span of time that is our life.
Along with other earthlings with whom we share this beautiful planet, we are nurtured, sustained, given warmth and light from above and below.
Upon this beautiful blue-green globe, we build our homes, till the fields, plant our gardens and orchards, and seek to build the beloved community by ever widening our circles of concern.
When we turn from self and seek to be aware, we will find holy light in human faces, in blossom, birdsong, and sky.
We are the caretakers and stewards for certain, but also companions, friends, and lovers, falling ever more deeply in love with the whole of the earth.
Let us remember our place in it.
The earth is truly our home, and we are one with all of earth's creatures. I invite you now into a time of silent meditation. Let the silence, which is not quiet, massage your ears. May the coolness of the breath entering your body remind you of where you are. And may the cry of children's voices in joy remind you that we are all part of a long chain of humanity. And all of us are welcome here, however we are. Amen. At this time, let us prepare ourselves to participate in the flower ceremony. I invite you now to look toward our altar at the beautiful flowers created and pick one to focus on. And as you do so, take in its shape and its color, recalling the fragrance of flowers that have come across your vision and your life, noticing what the flowers remind you of, noticing any memories that might be arising, and grounding yourself in this tradition that continues to involve and ground us in the longer history of Unitarian Universalism. Join me now in another moment of meditation. And now letting go whatever memories arose. Let us prepare to consecrate the flowers. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May these flowers remind us all, amid the diversity of knowledge and gifts, to be one in our desire and affection and devotion to that which is holy within. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing alike. May we cherish friendship as one of the most precious gifts that we share. May we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed to do thy work in this world.
It's now time for the flower communion. As you gaze upon those flowers before you, reverently, quietly, with a sense of how important it is to address our world and other persons with gentleness and justice and love. It's often been said that we may only love each other to the extent we extend love to ourselves first. So you're invited to include self-care as you take part in this communion, allowing the whole of yourself to be welcome here as you seek to extend your care also to the wider world. As you feel so moved, you're invited to approach the altar and select a flower different from the one you brought that particularly appeals to you. And as you take your chosen flower, noting its shape and its beauty, please remember to handle it carefully. It is a gift someone else has brought to you. It represents that person's unique humanity and therefore deserves the kindest touch. We'll share quietly in this Unitarian Universalist ritual of oneness and love. And there are plenty of flowers to go around. Don't worry if you did not bring one. Please come and get a flower.
As our flower communion comes to a close, I invite you to hear a final prayer written by Dr. Kopek just before he was put to death in Dachau, as he reflected on his own life and the state of his spirit. At the close of the prayer, I will say, "May it be so." And you are invited to respond with, "And so it is," bringing this blessing into the present and closing our ritual in full. So let's practice that one time together. May it be so. And so it is. Perfect. Spirit of life, it is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. O blow ye evil winds into my body's fire, my soul you'll never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight, and everything would worthless seem, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who was pressed from all sides but remained victorious in spirit is welcomed into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious. May it be so. And so our flower communion is at its close. We will now take the offering.
We all in this community give of our time, our talent, and our treasures. And on Sundays, we take an offering and share it with another organization in the community that has our same values. And for this month, we're doing that with the Friends of the Great Salt Lake. And so as we bring the baskets around, and if you were here last night, Scott made fun of us with our baskets. So don't worry, it's okay. And give as you are able, and we will also get the opportunity to listen to Michelle and Rick again.
Today's offering music is a setting of the poem Will There Really Be a Morning by Emily Dickinson, set by Ricky Ian Gordon.
Will there really be a morning? Is there such a thing as day? Could I see it from the mountains if I were as tall as they?
all that we have received and all we have found the courage to give, may we be truly grateful. May these gifts be a blessing on South Valley and on the Friends of the Great Salt Lake. At this time, we're going to participate in our ritual of joys and sorrows. Our joys and sorrows table is in the front of our round this week. I know we have all really enjoyed having the circle of chairs. Next week, we'll go back to our regular style just to keep this one special. And so at this time, you're invited to come forth in silence and add a stone to the water to represent any joys or sorrows that are in your heart. We'll do this ritual in silence, and Rick will play it for us. And at the close, I'll add one final stone to represent those worries and concerns and joys and celebrations that remain unnamed, but still in our hearts. Please join me at the altar now. For those in our online audience, I add this stone for your joys and your sorrows expressed and held in this community. And for those parts of our heart that are not yet out into the light and spoken, we add this stone. All of you is welcome here. Our season is changing once again. The light is increasing daily, and there is more warmth to be felt on the skin during the day. The vernal equinox here in Utah means blustery winds and rain, occasional snow, and a bursting forth of tulips, daffodils, and wildflowers in our beautiful mountains. The streams are beginning to flow with the snow melt, and with it, our internal landscape is invited to begin to awaken from its inward focus on the unconscious self. That which we laid to rest in the deeper slumber of the winter here in the northern hemisphere is now invited to awaken, emerge, and take root. As we move into this season of rebirth, we are again called to remember that emergence is just that, a process that unfolds on its own terms and is best supported by a continuation of our adherence to spiritual practices that ground our life in presence. The most active time of the seed is now passing. The first emergence of the seedling is the beginning of the new plant life being fed by the sun and the wind and the rain, rather than its stored sources of energy. So too, perhaps our hearts are now ready to be fed by the warmth of community in new ways. And of course, it's complicated, this emergence thing that we are always on the edge of doing, for we are not actually flowers. We are human beings with individual and family and national and cultural histories that are active in and between us, complicating even the seemingly most simple of interactions. As we arrive now to this third spring of the pandemic, the third spring, we know that we have been fundamentally altered by this time of difficulty. There will be no return to the way things were, even as we regain that sense of normalcy in our interactions daily. Like every generation of humans and every generation of Unitarian Universalists, we live in a complex time. And so we look to our shared values and the endurance of the beloved community to guide us in the ways of righteousness. And I use that word on purpose in a Unitarian Universalist context, for we do not cede the moral ground to the religious right. We ground ourselves in the search for truth and meaning with responsibility. And that means to be a people of both courage and humility. We seek the path of liberative justice, but it ever widens the circle of concern so that all who enter here, or who just drive by and see our rainbow flag and our beautiful banner, know that this is a place of spiritual refuge, spiritual renewal, spiritual connection, and spiritual growth. It takes courage to enter into a community such as this, where the answers are no longer clear-cut, and the questions themselves are likely to change over time. This is a place where perhaps we are less concerned about whether or not God, in fact, actually exists, and more interested in how the heart comes to fullness over the course of a life undertaken in community. This is a place of encouragement. If courage is the ability to do something that frightens us, then encouragement is the ability we have to support each other to face those things which frighten us, and to enter into the difficulties of life free from the belief that we must navigate our trials alone. As we encourage a life lived on purpose, we hopefully will grow our capacity for living authentically and ethically, holding ourselves to a standard of compassionate care for each other that reminds us, via things like our flower communion, to act with gentleness and goodwill towards all. And I know that that is a challenging task to undertake. A friend once quipped to me that she loves all of humanity. She just can't stand the ones she actually knows. And so let us enter into this community knowing that it is also a messy undertaking, that we will step on each other's proverbial and sometimes actual toes, and that we are called not to run away from conflict, which is a normal part of living and rubbing up against other human beings with different histories, but instead is an invitation to slow down, to deeply breathe once again, and to remember that the light in me is shared by the light in you, and that we can overcome the difficulties in our way. This is again where spiritual practice comes in. We cannot hope to transcend our troubles unless and until we create space for new conditions to take root in our lives. Just as the gardener knows that preparation of the soil is essential if we hope to have our gardens thrive and our trees bear fruit in the seasons to come, we also know as human beings that we must train our minds in the ways of presence if we wish to bear the fruits of compassion and joy, and enjoy a life of fulfillment in the midst of the complexities of life. And so my invitation again to you this morning is to ground yourself in the cycle of seasons and take time in the coming weeks to recommit yourself to whichever spiritual practice you find the most effective for you. A consistent and regular spiritual practice is an expectation that I hold for you as the minister of South Valley. It is essential to have a spiritual practice. I don't so much care what it is, as long as it is something that you undertake with intentionality and with care. It is as essential as giving your time and your talent and your treasure to this community. For you can only give from a place of abundance. And spiritual practice is the means by which you can harness and grow internal abundance. At the arrival of the winter solstice in December, I suggested that the nourishment for internal renewal lay in the snow-covered landscape and the ever so slowly melting ice crystals as they replenished the aquifers underneath. And as the snow rapidly melts this week, may you now notice the state of your internal aquifer. Tend to it with kindness, for wherever you are in that, whether you feel full or a little bit in need of nourishment, I encourage you to just remember that that well within can be renewed. I encourage you to lift your eyes to the horizon and take in the return of the sun. We're halfway between the two solstices. Let this warmth of the sun rest on your skin and seep into those places now seeking to emerge within, so that they may take root and grow to fullness. For you are beloved. You are a beloved and sacred part of the earth. And it may actually be true that the earth loves you just as much as you hope she might in your unguarded moments of awakening to the new season now rising in, among, and all around us. May it be so. Amen.
We're going to sing a round. Fun. Jordan, I'm putting you with the back group. You and Bill, looks like. Antoinette and Over, you're with the back group. You guys are number 1. You guys are 2. And you guys are 3. Okay? We're all going to sing together, though. A couple of times, 2 times. And then 1 will start, and then I'll point at 2, and I'll point at 3. Okay? It is, I Know This Rose Will Open, number 396. Stand as you'd like to.
I know my soul will dwell
As we extinguish our chalice, am I right? All right. And we have actions for this too. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. And we hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
Stay standing. We're going to sing one more time. One of our favorite hymns for Flower Communion, De Colores. And we're going to be brave and sing in Spanish.
We're starting with the Spanish. Number 305. Oh, this isn't on.
305.
305. De Colores.
De colores de visitas, campos en la primavera. De colores solo batallones se pierden la fuera. De colores es saca de iris que vimos lucir. Y por eso los grandes amores de muchos colores están aquí. Good job. All the colors, yes, the colors we see in the springtime with all of its flowers. All the colors, as the sunlight will down and in its showers. All the colors, as a rainbow appears when a storm is tossed by the sun. All the colors about the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the colors of people parading on by with the banners. All the colors, yes, the colors of ornaments and sailors and blooms and bandanas. All the colors, yes, the colors of people now taking their place in the sun. All the colors about the whole world around for everyone under the sun. All the colors, yes, the black and the white and the red and the brown and the yellow. All the colors of people who smile and shake hands and say hello. All the colors, yes, the colors of people who know that their freedom is won. All the colors about for the whole world around and for everyone under the sun. Woo! Please stay standing for the benediction. And if you feel comfortable and would like to reach out and hold hands, I encourage you to do that. If you don't, just place your hand over your heart. We're all in the beginning still of emerging. And hear now the benediction. May the light of love be upon you, be gracious unto you, and carry you forth in this week. May you be a light into the world, and let us rejoice, for this is the day we are given. Let us be glad and rejoice in the beauty of community. Go forth now and enjoy the beautiful sun warming your skin, enlivening your heart, and bringing forth the goodness that is within. Amen.
We have a postlude that Michelle and Rick are going to do for us, actually. So if you want to have a seat.
One more piece of music if you want to hear it.
want to remind everyone that we do have social hour. It's now downstairs, and there's coffee downstairs if you want it.